All right. Welcome to Real Talk. I am the voice, Mr. Reality, aka Greg Delaney. Here today to have that conversation that we talked about. Let me get the camera right. Make sure everything is good. Yeah, we good? Look, I should have more greenery in this thing. What y'all think? Yeah, man. So we're going to have the conversation that we spoke about, where real talk. This conversation is with real individuals who do real things, who inspire, need to be inspired, have gone through, made it, did not make it, making it now, whatever it may be. But this is really about having conversations with real people. Because to be perfectly honest, the celebrities, they get enough of their shine. When we're talking about people who we deal with on a day-to-day basis, who are the real celebrities, the real people who need to have the accolades and need to be applauded. But not only that, there may be some people that we have in this conversation with who needs your words, your inspiration, to hear your story and why you got to why you do what you do or how you got to where you were going. And I've been blessed throughout my life to meet many amazing people. And one of the things that I had said is if I ever had an opportunity to just have people witness the conversations and some of the wisdom I have gotten, some of the experiences, just some of the conversations I've had, that would be dope. And then I thought, well, why can't I show people what those conversations look like? And not everyone I know. Some people I'm getting to meet for the first time myself, but I have done the research, looked through their page, looked at things, and was like, you know what, this person seems interesting. Let's see if we got that conversation because I'm sure they got a story. And what makes it so dope is that the woman that I'm speaking with today, and there's so many accolades I could give, but I had ran across her because she liked one of the original real talk conversation that I had. And all the way from Atlanta. So I started looking and noticed that she has a nonprofit organization, that she is a businesswoman, but she's also a mental health advocate. And not only that, the basis of her nonprofit is dope. And I know that there's a story. And being a girl dad, my daughter's grown now, but being a father of a young woman who actually has kids, I was thinking like it would be dope for my daughter to be doing something like this or even to be a part of something like this. So what I'm going to do is request this woman to come to the stage. And for all of those who are pulling in, welcome. Good to see you. And like I said, I am waiting for the one and only Miss Nichelle Wilson to come to the forefront. And the way that this whole Instagram thing works takes a moment. There we go. Hey now.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear
I
me?
sure can.
Look at God. Won't he do it? So, first of all,
My
Miss
light
Nichelle Wilson, it is a
fine. I'm not sure. Can you see me well?
woman.
These-
Stop it. You know you light skinned. You glowing. We can see you. We can see you in there. Now, real quick. First of all, it's a pleasure to actually see you face to face because we've talked through Instagram, but I haven't got a chance to actually meet you.
Yeah.
So,
Happy
first,
Black History
you
Month.
said Happy Black History Month, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All right. Now, I was telling the story about how I actually ran across you. Is that you actually liked um, one of the conversations that I had previously, and I was just going through befriending people who had liked it because I want to follow those who followed me or showed interest, and you were one of the people who did. And then I noticed, like, wait a minute, she's on to something. She does a lot of things too. So I reached out to you. Now, would you mind telling the people who may be watching or watching later who you are?
Yes, I am Nichelle Wilson. My daughter and I, her name is Hannah Marie. We run a mental health nonprofit, and where we focus on basically building community and village for mothers and children and encouraging those to just surround yourself with positive energy and pour into those mothers and children that may need it best. My daughter and I escaped a domestic violence situation that I had with her father, which was my ex-husband. And I decided to, instead of being afraid or ashamed of what I've gone through, just kind of use that to help other people to get through transitions in their life, whether it be, domestic violence or anything, not necessarily domestic violence, but just a hardship that, they're having a hard time transitioning out of that season of life.
Now, when you mentioned your daughter, how old is your daughter?
She just turned 9. Her birthday was January 21st.
Mm.
And so she turned 9 years old.
Well, happy birthday, little lady.
Thank
Um,
you.
and congratulations, first of all, for making it, escaping that situation,
Thank
with the way that you phrased it.
you. Yes.
And if you don't mind me asking, and this is not one of those lives where I'm going to try to get all in your business and get all too deep and all of that, but there are some things that I really want to know because I am a father of a 32-year-old amazing woman, who has two kids, but my grandbabies. I want to claim them like they mine, but they're
Oh,
technically
you
hers.
sound like my father. I have to remind him,
Yeah,
she's my daughter.
and we'll give that away, but we'd be like, oh, but yeah. So one of the things is that I told her today about you being on the live, and I said you may want to pop in because I think this is something that you want to see. Um, and so we're gonna go through the whole scope because this is my introduction to you as well. Your daughter is 9,
Mhm.
and give me your name one more time. I got the Marie part. Was
Hannah Marie.
Hannah Marie?
Yes.
Okay. Now you and Hannah Marie, and you said you were married.
Yes.
How long were you married, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, not a long time. That's a story in itself. But I was dating my ex-husband long distance. So what seemed to have been a very amazing relationship. Once we got married, maybe a few months after, I moved to where he was located. And the day I permanently moved there, it was literally like a light switch went off. So probably a year and a half or so after that, I
Yeah.
escaped. My divorce obviously wasn't final for a few years after that, but it was probably after I transitioned to that state, about a year and a half, and I had to abruptly leave my marriage and my life that I had built.
Now you were going to a whole new state. Did you have anybody in the state where he was? Were there any family members in the state that he was, or was it just like you
Um,
was going out there?
I was starting fresh. I knew people because went to an HBCU. I'm a Delta, very social and know people all over. So
Right,
yes, I had people there, but it wasn't, it was different. And you think you have people someplace and then they show you
right,
different also.
right. Especially
But
when
I
you
did
get.
have a few angels there that really, really helped me and just held my hand through the scenario, the situation and situations, during that season of life.
And so I'm really interested in not so much of the details of that story because it's your personal business. If you choose to share, you can.
Hmm.
But I'm really interested because I moved to Houston from Denver, and I was here for about a year before my fiance came down. And what was crazy is that when she came down, we immediately moved in together because she came down for that. But what was crazy is that when we actually moved together, we realized we hadn't spent longer than 2 weeks with each other at a time because we were doing the long distance thing for a year. Now I met her before I left, but we were doing the long distance thing for a long time. And when we got in the same house, let me tell you, it was learning somebody brand new. And it was scary for her because she was in a new place where she didn't have anybody, she didn't have any friends. It was scary for me because I'm out here with this woman that I know, but I don't really know, and now we're trying to figure each other out. And I'm dealing with the her fears of, well, he might be crazy, get out here. I'm out here by myself. I'm dealing with I got
Right.
her out here, and now I'm responsible for her dad, and everybody else looking at me like, you know. So that whole transition in itself could be heavy.
Yes. Yes. Without getting married, without having children, without changing jobs. I mean, yeah, just moving in general, comes with a lot. So I think it was a lot of transitions going on at one time.
Yeah.
Um, but the unfortunate piece is, I think that's normal. When, you have to adjust, you have to make changes, you have to step outside of the box and take risk and do all of those great things. And that's 110% what I did and was willing to do, until you realize a person that you did get to know was never that individual that
Mm.
you got to know,
Yeah.
and that happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It is all the time, but it does happen. Some people are like, oh, well, you didn't see the red flags. No, I didn't.
Right.
And that's okay. I didn't.
Well, it's easy to keep the red flags hidden from a distance, especially when it's a long distance relationship. You could be perfect if you come to visit. All you got to do is be good for a weekend. Like I'm going to be great for this week you here. I'll be crazy the week you leave.
That's
You know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they say you got to be with somebody for a while to see the real them. Now, so you were married for that long? Y'all dated for a year and a half, or?
We dated for almost a year, actually. I was his second wife, and we were in our 30s. And, it just felt
Yeah.
right. We went to marital counseling every other weekend for some months, to work out the jitters of all of that, of the long distance and things of that nature. I met him at one of my closest friends' wedding. He was in the wedding, actually. So it wasn't like some, I don't know, strange.
Stranger, right?
Yeah, it wasn't on an app or anything like that. I didn't do date on apps or anything like that. So it just felt like it just felt right.
Yeah. Now, your daughter, Miss Hannah, is that his daughter as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So y'all was moving super quick. Y'all dated, got married, had the babies,
Yeah,
had the baby.
and that was not the plan. I got married under the impression that I wouldn't be able to have children because I had medical concerns and some medical things that I had been going through for a decade before I even met him.
Mm.
Um, so she was a miracle child, a huge surprise, um, total surprise, in that, and a miracle. She came a month early. Again, that's a story for another day. But God has His ways of letting us know, hey, everything is by design.
Yeah, by
So
design. And so with that being said, the moment and because we getting to know each other, but I'm going to ask, but the moment that you realized in your mind that this ain't it, like I'm not going to do this. Um, did you did you have a sense of empowerment in that moment, or was it frustration, fear? What was that was just that I'm done, I'm gone?
it was opposite. I didn't feel empowered at all. I felt, um, what in the world am I going to do? How am I going to do this?
Mm.
You know, who can I talk to? Because I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. No one would expect me to be going through what I'm secretly going through, and not sharing with close friends and family. So no, I didn't feel empowered. I felt scared. It was actually a awful situation where he had physically abused both myself and my daughter, and we spent her first Easter in the hospital fighting for her life. And even in that moment, in full transparency, I went to the hospital, not, him threatening, saying, oh, they're going to take her away. You did this, you did this. And in my mind, I'm like, how did I do this? And I'm bleeding, she's bleeding, like what? And so I went there and was like, oh, it was, some freak accident. It was a mistake. And the nurse was looking at me like, I'm so sick of you women coming in here saying this, protecting people that don't need to be protected. And I just wanted to hug that lady, but I had to keep on with my story.
Hmm.
But I was like, I hate these women too. Like, me too. Like,
Right.
wow, believe this is happening. And, and that's why I say you never know what you would do in scenarios and situations until you're in them.
Right.
And that is just so true because you just don't know. And all I know is I had my baby bloody in my arms, screaming and hollering for her life. What was more important to me is lying to that doctor and making sure that I can stay with my child until she got well
Right.
or
And
anyone else intervened.
there's going to be people who's listening to this story and watching and like you said, how did you not see the red flags and all of that kind of stuff there? But this is a conversation for y'all to have in that group. If you want to learn more about her, you follow her, you get immersed in her story, because this is what she does. She's an advocate. She speaks to this. But one of the things that kind of sticks out to me, because I was raised by nothing but women,
Mhm.
and I had the some consider it a blessing, some consider it a curse. The ability to see both sides of that. I've seen the women who were strong and like, nah, I ain't taking it, I'm out. And I've seen the ones who were strong and got into it and was like, yo, I don't know how I even got here. And were you one of those women like before this? Because I'm sure you never imagined yourself in that situation. Of course, who does, right? Well, were you one of those women who, like you said, was like, I will never do this. I'll never be in this. I would never accept that. Like, or was it?
I don't know if I was I wasn't one of those women because I just never seen it happen.
Oh,
Like I did never see myself in that situation. Not that it couldn't happen to me because I think that, why not me? I'm capable of anything happening to me, just like you are. We're human. So no, I can't say that I would never, because I just think I've always had a compassionate spirit and non-judgmental spirit about myself. And I've always, was that friend to a lot of people that had some things that they weren't so proud of, that they were going through, that they could share with me. And
right,
so, and I would look at them and had no idea that this is what they were really going through.
right.
So I think me being a compassionate person and living my life through community before this, I was very devoted. I actually, before I left Atlanta and moved to Houston, I was volunteering my time with the Georgia Advocacy for Children organization. And they help children that's been abused and in domestic violence situations. And a lot of people potentially may have thought I volunteered for that organization because maybe that's something that I had experienced. I had never experienced it, never thought I would experience it, and I found myself less than 12 months experiencing the very same thing that I was helping promote, you
Yeah,
know, raising money for, getting children out of these type of situations. And here I am 12 months later in a situation where I need someone helping me to get out of this situation. So I didn't see it coming, but I don't think I ever thought it just wouldn't be me,
yeah.
you know?
Now, because you were working in the community in that space, did you have a lot of resources like readily available when things like that happened, or were you like even scared to reach out or nervous
I was
to reach out? I fear
very
not say embarrassed, right?
I was very scared and nervous to reach out. I didn't know who to trust.
Mm,
The very person that you think you can trust, you can't trust that person. And then the people that you were around that you thought were friends, and it seems as though, ooh, I can't trust them either. What do you do? Um, so I would say in my situation, because the truth did come out, Child Protective Services had to get involved. Thank God. And Child Protective Services got involved and they saved me and my daughter's life. They saved me and my daughter's life. They assigned a woman to my case, and I was her last case. This was it. She was transitioning to another career. And you either can get a person real dedicated
mhm,
or not. And that lady saved my life. She saved my life. She opened my eyes to things that I had not been around abuse. I've always been in loving relationships,
mhm,
no one perfect relationships, but I had never been remotely close to, love bombed and then boom, like,
Yeah.
emotionally abused, financially abused, spiritually abused, like all of that way before it became physical. So I was already broken down.
Right.
Um, so, you know, um, yeah, I'm not sure where I was going with that, but I was already
And look,
broken. I had never been in that situation before. So again, it was by the grace of God that Child Protective Services got involved. And that was the first, I guess, resource that I was able to, see, oh,
lean on. Yeah.
people are really for you. And again, I'm having my husband at the time in my ear saying that they're not for me because, he has to manipulate the situation and make it fit to his narrative. But it all worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. And I got the right person on that case and handled it the right way. Again, by the grace of God, saved me and my daughter's life.
Now,
I probably
now that woman, like you said, you had some angels in your process. Do you consider her one of your angels? Well,
absolutely.
do you mind if we say her name, if we speak her name?
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Okay.
Kimberly Manor. She was an amazing, amazing person and a great therapist and someone that really took my situation seriously.
Yeah. And I wanted to just say her name because for her to be there in that space when you needed her to be and for her to be your angel, I believe that those kind of people need to have their name enter a room that they haven't entered into before. And do know that whoever's going through things, at some point, there's a Kimberly somewhere in your life, hopefully. I'm a spiritual man, so I'm going to say God has a Kimberly for you somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to say her name out loud. So first of all, congratulations on making it out of that because I know it couldn't be easy. But the strength in it is to see you on the other end of this camera smiling, looking good, and doing something great out of all of that pain and that stress. But let's take it back a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. You went to a HBCU.
I did. Clark Atlanta University. Go Panthers.
That sounds so enthusiastic.
Go
Panthers.
Panthers.
And you are
And I was
a part of.
a leader, so I am very enthusiastic about my school now.
Uh, Hey, I don't want no problems. I unfortunately did not make it to college. I went to the University of the Streets,
That worked.
but I didn't graduate to jail, so I did good. I graduated with a master's on that. Did not go to jail, never, not once. Just know that. I need some wood. But the moral of the story is, Clark, and you are a part of the Divine Nine.
Yeah.
You are.
Yes, I am a Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Sigma Chapter, Spring '03. I'm the ace. Mm-hmm.
Okay. For a long time, I used to call y'all educated gangbangers because y'all be so serious. Woo, they be so serious. And I was born and raised in Colorado. I didn't have the HBCU experience, and not
No,
because
experience either. My parents, they're together to this day, but my mom and dad were teenage parents. They had me when they were in high school, and um, it was important for them to make sure that myself and I have two younger sisters that we went on to college. So yeah, I didn't have that experience myself. I also was a military brat, so I grew up in Germany, and then
mm,
my father in Augusta. And after I graduated from high school in Augusta, I came to Clark Atlanta. He retired and moved back to New Orleans. So,
now wait
you know,
a minute. Now hold on. Now you were how long were you in Germany?
like 4 or 5 years,
Okay.
my elementary years were in Germany. And it's so funny because my daughter goes to an international school now, and her experience, it just brings me back to the experience that I had going to school with so many different diverse, individuals and families at her school. It's the same.
Yeah.
Speak.
So when you got to the HBCU, what was that experience like for you?
It was very shocking because I also went to like an all white high school, well, mainly white high school. And so a lot of the white people that I went to high school with, some of them I were like their first Black friend. So then going to an HBCU, it was it was a culture shock for me in multiple ways.
Yeah.
But I felt right at home. I love my experience. I've went to college in 2000. I have never missed a homecoming. Even when I was pregnant, I flew to Clark Atlanta University, cheered. I cheer every year. I love my Cheer Five Sisters just as much as I love being a part of the Divine Nine. My Cheer Five Sisters is really, really near and dear to my heart.
Mhm.
And classmates, I just had an all around amazing experience at school, and I made the best of it and continue to pour into those that are in the AUC. I have a few mentees that are currently in college, and it's just my life mission is to continue to pour back into
So, and
community.
so with this being said, so you were a military brat, right?
Hmm.
Um, who had all this diversity, parents together for a long time, went to a HBCU, pledged and did your thing with Delta, and to end up in that relationship. Now, this is, I'm breaking it down because I want some of these people to hear this, who understand. Like, so you was doing your thing. You had a lot of things together. Everything was in alignment, and you ended up in a situation that didn't. And I'm saying this because a lot of people think of a woman in an abuse situation. Oh, she was strung out. She didn't have no daddy in her life, and she was abused as a kid, and that's why she found a man like that, and she was having daddy issues, and all of that. But that wasn't your story by any means.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because for me, because I was surrounded by love, because my parents raised me in love, I immediately knew this is not love. They say when you first get married, it's hard, it's rough, give it time, pray, continue to go to counseling. And I did all those things, continued to go to counseling. My husband was one person in counseling and one person in the parking lot before and after. It was like, what is happening? I'm in the twilight zone. And it was because of the love that my family surrounded me with that I knew that, and I definitely was not going to raise my child in a fearful environment, because children are to be brought into this world. They're not asked to be, in a circus.
Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
Now,
And
was your father a expressive, affectionate man, or was he the stoic,
my dad
concept of?
was strict. I had a strict father.
Mhm.
Like I say, a loving family. We support each other wholeheartedly. I never looked up in the stands. My parents was at a game. You would have thought I was a star football player, the star basketball player, and I'm the cheerleader on the sidelines, but they didn't miss anything, in my entire life. So, from that standpoint, they were strict. Obviously they were teenage parents. They didn't want me to, have a child young like they did, and want to just make sure that I had access, and just different goals and aspirations. And I'm proud for keeping that mission, and keeping me and my sisters on that track, because it really has helped me a lot in many relationships, friendships, building business partnerships with people based off of the relationship that my parents first, and gave to myself, my sisters, and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
it's because, nope, this is not for me. This is not safe. I deserve more. And my father, even when he came to visit me, he's like, I don't know what is going on. And I know you've seen me and your mother go through a lot of stuff, but we love each other. We're
Mhm.
friends. We have each other's back. You don't have to force yourself to be a part of something that is unhealthy and unsafe. And my daddy didn't know the truth at that time.
Right.
And it was something, conversation, like the next day, I felt comfortable looking up divorce attorneys. It was
Yeah.
just something about that. Like, I no longer felt like I would fail my family. It was like, I have to be smart before I fail them in a way and they lose me and lose my miracle child that I had.
Yeah.
So
Now, did you ever tell your father that that conversation that he had with you was what made you comfortable enough to do that? Have you ever physically told him that?
I don't know if I did. I don't think so.
Let me just give you a hint of advice from a father. tell him, because that is the biggest compliment you could give to him. My daughter and her fiance now, her children's father, when they were going through it with the first child, she was having issues and they was going back and forth, and he had told her, like, and I probably putting her business out there, but he had said, you know I love you, like I tell you all the time. And her response to him is like, I know love. My dad loves me. He loves me. And I hear it all the time. Like, you got to do better than that. I know what love is from a man. And you got to do better. And that was the biggest compliment she's ever given me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what's up. But, on the inside, it was like, yes, I did what I was supposed to do. I loved her because a young girl's first love is going to be her father and her mother.
Right.
A young boy's first love is going to be his mother, and his father if he's there. So we really kind of get our understanding of what a woman is and what a woman should be by what we see and what we're molded by. A woman most likely is going to look at her father, if he's an upstanding guy, and say, hey, I kind of want somebody who has those traits, or the exact opposite
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah, and that's where I struggle, because I don't relate to my daughter in that way. My parents married both sides of my family. My parents married, I'm like the first divorce, in my close knit of family. And not only my divorce, my ex-husband gave up his rights. We have permanent protective orders, like he's not in our lives and don't want to be and can't be. So it's, two-way. And I can imagine what she is growing up feeling, because I always had my dad, so she doesn't get to be a daddy's girl. She doesn't have but to be a mommy's girl. Now she's definitely a papa's girl, but she knows that that's her grandfather. My sister has a great partnership, and her boyfriend and they share a 1-year-old daughter, my niece, and he's an amazing uncle to her. So, as her mother, I just have to make sure that I keep positive men in her life, because I would never want to think that just because this happened, or just because that man or your father was that way, that's everybody, because it's not. And I didn't grow up like that.
Yeah.
But
Now, did you ever think about, like, and I don't, I'm all in your business at this point. Have you gotten remarried?
no,
Do you think you ever will,
um,
given that
maybe
last experience?
I, huh?
I said, given the last experience.
I would. I would. I mean, I think marriage is beautiful. Again, I have parents that's been together and been married for over 40 years at this point. So I I think that companionship, the partnership is beautiful. I just don't know if it's for me today.
Right.
It's not a priority, and where I am right now, my daughter is a priority. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Now, and with you making your daughter your priority right now, what does that priority look like for you? When you say she's a priority, what does that mean for you?
For me, I gave up my career when I went through what I went through. And to your point, I was the breadwinner of my relationship. I really just had it all together until I had to just let it all go. And some of it I let go, some was taken from me. It was a little combination. And I lost a lot in that marriage, but I gained so much more respect for myself, so much respect for choosing to be an intentional parent. And that comes along with making a lot of personal sacrifices. And everyone can't make those type of sacrifices. However, God picked me because he knew that I could. And he knew that I would. And I'm up for the challenge. So for me, it's spiritual, it's personal. My daughter is into a lot. She is a brilliant little girl. And she is into so much that requires me being a taxi slash Uber slash airplane slash helicopter every day, all at
Yeah.
once,
Yeah. No,
you
let's
know?
let's not forget personal chef, personal maid, designer. Yeah.
You
Let's not.
know, my daughter is, she is all that in a bag of chips, like they say in the old days. She is a blessing, and I couldn't imagine without her. And because what happened with us, and because at some point she'll have to know more of the deeper details of it, she wasn't a mistake. I loved my ex-husband. She was made in love. I wasn't one of those women where I was putting time on something like, oh my God, I got to get married. I got to have a baby. Again, I didn't think I could even have children. So for me, she's a priority because she needs to know that she's the priority. And
Yeah.
that's important for a little girl's confidence. I'm a woman and I know what that looks like and how that has to be built up. So I'm very intentional with her. And when the time is right and God decides, hey, it's your season for this, then I would embrace that. I think maybe one time since my divorce, I may have thought something like that was going to happen, and it didn't. And but I was open, to the idea. So nothing that mind to. I think men are amazing. I love men. I love Black men. And I just think, I had someone that was not great,
Yeah.
but it was an experience that I was supposed to have. So, and I'm grateful.
Absolutely. And we're grateful that you got through it. That's what I'm talking about. Now, with women who are listening, young parents and even mature parents who are still listening, you speak about, your priority. She's your priority, and you did things with intentions. What are some of the practices that you did or you do on a everyday basis that reassures and builds and I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I am a girl dad. I was the father who got my daughter baptized. I bought her first dress. I took her on her first date with the roses and things like that. I love my daughter, you know, actively, and I always have. And it wasn't like something that just started. So she grew up in love. And the affirmations and the confirmations and the building and the reassurance, like I know what that does because she does it now with my grandbabies, which is beautiful because they are offspring of that. But what are some of the practices that you've done on a regular basis to reassure her and like just give her that energy?
For my daughter and I, we talk every morning and every night. Every morning, every night, and on the way to school. And we say our prayers. And that's huge. And every night it's, what was the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? And she knows that she can talk to me about any and everything. And I make sure that I keep that balance there because I am only, and again, I had a mom and a dad. So I could be mad at my mom and I can go to my dad. I could be mad at my dad and I could go to my mom. But I know she doesn't have that. So we just always talk. No, we don't go to bed upset, and she really doesn't get upset. Like when I tell you God has blessed me, he has blessed me. She is around for these conversations. She is hands-on with our nonprofit. She is present for all the things. Her hands is into everything. And I'm very vocal and I'm very honest with her. And this is every single day. And it's been since birth though. So really it's just everyday practices for us. I can't say, I've just been intentional since day one. Something my mom taught me when I left the hospital with my baby. She said, communication is always important for all relationships. You need to tell her everything that you are doing. And it was literally day one. Mommy's changing your diaper. It is morning time. It is, just having those conversations. When I tell you my daughter was talking early as I don't know what, fully comprehending, conversations and things of that nature. Like it's just been intentional since day one, you
Yeah.
know.
And I agree. Let me, if you don't mind, since we're knowing, getting to learn each other. Um, my father wasn't in my life. And he was around. He was close, but he wasn't around, which made it even worse. But my grandbabies, when my grandson was born, I only have one daughter. Now I have bonus children, but I only have one daughter. So uh, when she had my grandson, I had never had any boys, and I'm holding him in the hospital, and all I could do is think of everything that I wish somebody would have told me. So I went through this spill of affirmations. You're going to be a good man. You're going to be a God-fearing man. You're going to respect women. Women are going to respect you. You're going to be healthy. You're going to be strong. You're going to be, and I did this, right? The very first time I held him. And me and my daughter was close when she was pregnant as well, which was really cool because I talked to her belly all the time. She didn't hate it, she loved it. But needless to say, he's turning 10 now. And I've done that with him every day that he was with me. Whenever he got ready to leave, I'll stop him and say, hey, here's what it is. Or even when I had him when he was younger. And I noticed that at 8, 6, 7 months, I would start talking and I would do my affirmations. You're going to be a good man. You're going to be a God-fearing man. And he would lock in on me. And no matter what he was doing, he would lock in on me. He would pay attention. So by the time he was 2 and 3, he would, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Until
Yes,
the day I
yes,
do that.
yes. And
And
just so you realize it's just what we do. I
yeah,
told her from day one, like, you have these fairy tale stories, baby. God made you whole. God made you complete. Mommy can't complete you. When you grow up and fall in love, that person can't complete you. You're already
yeah.
complete. It, what my daughter tells me, and I love it so much, she's like, Mom, I love you, but I love me the most.
Come on
I-
now.
yes,
All right.
you most. And I'm okay with that. Then she tells me, I love God first, then me. And she's like, and mom, this is when she was younger. And I'm sorry, mommy, but you have to be number 3.
Like, that ain't a bad top two though.
Just makes me feel so good that, she has confidence to say that with conviction to me.
Right.
You know, and she would look in the mirror and just tell herself she's pretty and that God loves her. The relationship my child has with God is outstanding. So I think, those are just the everyday thing that has now just become a way of our life.
Mm,
Like we do so many activities for her, studying or homework, or it's just second nature. She loves learning on a 24/7 basis. It's just, what am I learning today? What's new today? And I just thank God. I really, really just have to thank God. And I just got to thank God because my steps are ordered. And I went through some times where I'm like, why me? And then I'm like, you know what? I know why. I know why. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
yeah.
This is what I get so fulfilled, and it's very healing too.
Right.
Very, very healing.
So, did you ever go back to get your career, or are you just doing the nonprofit full time?
I tried and trying, and God just keep blocking it. It's like, you know, have gotten offers. However, I don't have any, my daughter goes to a private school, so I have to take her to school. I have to pick her up, and it's only me. Yes, I have a village, but the village have their own, responsibilities too.
Right.
So I just, again, she's number one. I'm making that sacrifice.
Yeah. And it's a blessing that you're able to do what you're doing, and not have to go to work
Well,
to
I,
stay afloat and things.
I work. So I am a consultant. So I
Mm,
am a mother to make sure that my bills and things get paid. I would love to go back into, like my career. I really would love to just do this full time and possibly, instead of it being more of my passion, get grants and just continue to build and grow and make it bigger, because it's way bigger than what I wanted it to be. And it's like, wow, I have something here and I have something special, and I love helping other people feel really good about themselves and get themselves out of ugly situations and low points and help them. And a lot of times it's strangers, a lot of times it's people that I don't know.
right.
And it just feels so good. I'm like, this is what I'm be doing.
Now,
Um
why haven't you gotten grants? I mean, because like, why haven't you went the grant route and all that kind of stuff? Because, a nonprofit working with
I,
kids in the Black
I
community would help with
I
mental health.
I need to do it. I mean, I need to connect with the right people and do it. I personally, that's not my niche. I just really need to buckle down and and do it. I think I've been scared, like, oh, well, what if I get them? And then, I don't know. It's a lot of different feelings and emotions.
So
Uh,
we could give that whole scared of success speech. We could do that whole spiel, right? You know how that goes. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do one better. So check this out. The way God works, right, is if there's somebody who's gonna watch this live or who sees this live who actually does grasp. Because I'm a business owner. I've started a couple of different businesses, which God, please help become successful. But I've ran across a couple of people who, yeah, please pray, look for grants and do that kind of stuff. So there's going to be some people who see this, who do this for a living, who do that for nonprofits, and who actually do that work. And we just going to claim it, and they're going to reach out to you and be like, you know what? I was looking over this grant that it looks like you qualify for because I heard your story. And then you're going to get some grant money, and then you're going to come back and get me to host some of the events because
Listen,
this is how Jesus works.
so so every year, so my daughter, so during the pandemic, well, before the pandemic, so I am a Delta, as I mentioned, and I have a number that pledged in 75. She felt like something was off with me, flew to Texas and said, I need you to meet me at this golf course today. I'm coming to the area you live in. Okay. My daughter was maybe almost 3 months, so maybe like 3 months or so. That was the first time I ever been on a golf course with my child, really on a golf course. And she held my baby, and she always came back to check on me. I moved to Atlanta. She would fly to Atlanta. She would come, make sure she spent time with me and my baby. Introduced her to golf. And right before the pandemic, she was going to introduce golf, during the pandemic, virtually to parents since we were stuck inside. Well, unfortunately, she passed away in her sleep.
Mm.
And we didn't ever get an opportunity, for us to do that together. And after she was found asleep, I'm sorry, after she was deceased, I received a card in the mail from her. And so it all has she must it was just a lot. And I was like, oh my God. So I find out one of my closest mentors, big sisters that I looked up to, that really loves me and my baby and supported us through what we were going through, passes away unexpectedly. Then maybe 2 days later, I received in the mail a card from her. And in that card, it was something in there, that really, really touched me. Her daughter reached out to me. Long story short, she was like, my mother loved you and your baby. Please don't ever forget my mom. So we don't. We did something even better. We have uh, our number one fundraiser for our nonprofit is the Hannah Marie Golf Classic, and it's in memory of her.
And
Every year, an award out
what
for
is her name?
Anita, Anita, Anita Wyatt Henshaw. We give award out every year, to a woman that embodies everything that Anita embodied. Her daughter
Mm.
gives my daughter the last set of clubs that, her mother had. So we bring that every year, and it's like she's there with us. And it's growing. I'm so excited. Like, this is our third annual, it's our fourth year doing a golf tournament. It's our third annual Hannah Marie Golf Classic. It'll be June 23rd. If you happen to be in Atlanta, we would love for you to come. And do you golf?
I don't have the patience nor the time for golf right now, but I heard that that's what you need it for, is for the therapy. And I also heard that that's where some of the best business deals are made, is on the golf course. And I need to be somewhere around there. Now, I'm not gonna tell no stories. Me and Atlanta ain't been friends. I'm in Houston now, but me and Atlanta ain't never got along. They always tried to steal me, steal my wallet, keep me there, steal something from me. Yeah, me and Atlanta ain't never really got along. But
Oh, no.
maybe I just seen the wrong part of it.
Yeah,
Every time,
I don't know.
every time.
I Atlanta has done me good. New Orleans will always be home. But yeah, that's our story full circle. And of all the sports that my daughter attempted to play, she loves golf. She's amazing at it. She's great in STEM, robotics. She's great at she's in a musical this weekend. She got one of the main roles. She's an artist. Like she just is amazing. And I just thank God I will go through everything that I went through and currently going. I mean, I can't sit up here and say, oh my God, things are just perfect because they're not. I do miss being a career woman, even though I do see my greater purpose. But then some days I do get sad. Like, why don't I have grants? Like, what am I not doing right? You know, to move forward in this direction. I'm doing all these things. So I, you know, like an average day person, you know, we go through that tug of war, you know, with ourselves on a daily basis. And am I doing enough of this? Am I doing, you know, enough of that? And how's my daughter feeling? Because I have no idea to be 9 without a dad, you know, like it's just all the
Yeah.
things. So
Now wait a minute. No, hold on, because see, you good. You good. You be running through it. Um, but one of the things that stand out to me, and we're gonna have a real moment. Um, I hear you, you know, speaking of your daughter and how she moves and how busy she is and how active she is and how successful she is, which is a beautiful, very beautiful thing. But in this process, it kind of makes me think like, well, what about you? Where is your personal life in
mm,
all of this? And I know you said you're dedicated and that you're putting everything together, but where is the energy being poured into you? Do you have that energy, and where does it come from? Like, what about you?
you know, I think I try to keep as a healthy balance as I can. Um, I have a really good network of girlfriends and good guy friends, and I have both of my sisters live in Atlanta,
Okay.
and we're all like here together, talk every day. So you know, I think part of who I am, even before I got married, before I had a child, was pouring into other people. That's just so I love that. I love community. I love all of that. So even with my consulting, I do public engagement and involvement, you know, so I'm in people's face all day long. Like that's just who I am. And that makes me happy. So I probably could work a little bit more in that department of the me, you know, if I'm being honest and transparent. And I don't feel like I'm at a really good place to do that because I do have, you know, responsibilities that I got to keep my head straight on. You know, my baby got to eat. We got to drive a car. We got to get gas. You know, we got to have a roof over our head.
Yeah.
All those.
Now that is definitely true, but I also want to remind you of the name of your nonprofit is Happy Mommy,
Happy.
Happy Minute.
Yes.
Yeah, but so the first part of that was the happy mommy part, mama part. So mama needs to really pour into herself as well. And I'm not judging by any means. I'm just saying that you're giving me the rundown and the baby sounds good. But it's just like, yo, you got so much going on. Where do you get short? Like, where do you get poured into at? Because and being a philanthropist is a different thing, but being a giver, a God-given giver, like it's your spirit, like you said, that makes me happy. So that's what fills you, is being able to pour into others. But I'm along the same lines as you. I'm not gonna say I've done as great things as you. I don't even know if people like me like that, to tell you the truth. But the thing, the thing about it is that I do know that when you pour into so many people and you're constantly giving it away, that at some point you get depleted. And then, my thing is that those burdens that you carry of helping other people and being there for other people, those tend to stick with you. Like, how do you go through that process? And once again, you
Therapy
know,
every other week. My therapist, not Kimberly, she's in Texas, but Christy, we could call her name too. Christy has been my therapist since I moved back from that situation.
mhm.
Um, so since 2017, and she really, really helps me prioritize myself, um, keep things, you know, into place, help me make sense of things that doesn't really make sense, or hey, no, you should really do this. And so this year, my hashtag is show up in 2025. And one of my best friends, Tanisha, she was like, I saw what you put on Facebook show up in 2025. She said, but I have a fine small print for that. I said, okay. She's like, you ready for some feedback? I'm like, okay. She says, the fine print is show up for yourself.
Mm.
And when I tell you, I have amazing friends. And when they talk to me, I listen. And there are some, when she said that, I'm like, that's the fine print. That's really what 2025 is about to be about, showing up for myself. And what that may look like may be uncomfortable to other people.
Right.
Do. So thank you for that. That has been brought to my attention, and I own pieces of that. A lot of it is self-guilt when you are an only parent. There's self-guilt there that you just can't get rid of at times. But again, I go to therapy faithfully. People like they don't miss a gym day. I don't miss a therapy session. Okay.
Right.
I don't. And I'm very thankful of the clarity that I get and the peace that I get, in finding someone that truly understands me and gets me and that can help me in ways that I'm unable to help myself.
Yeah. And congratulations for being strong enough to even, like you said, stay, not even go to the therapy, but stay in it. Because a lot of people will leave therapy the minute that they don't feel that they're hearing what serves them, right? Because how dare you tell me you don't know me, you don't know my life. And so for the people as Black people, therapy is great. It's like having a really smart friend with a degree and knows what to do. Um, and it's okay to do. And one of the things that, like I said, and I'm listening to you, I'm learning you, and I'm just listening to what you do, and I love how much energy and how you pour into your daughter and things of that nature. But then also, I start thinking like, man, you got all this stuff going on for her, and you're doing amazing things. But how does it feel for you, and what does it look like pouring into you? And just when you go to your Facebook page and you see all the awards and the accolades on stuff you do, like Mama's getting out, she having a good time. She got her sorors, she out there doing her thing, and she's having a great time. What is it about your life in this season that you love? And not,
I
and let me take this back. Not your daughter.
was
I know she's a big
not
part
about
of it.
to talk about her.
I know she's a big part of it, but
Baby,
what about your life in this season do you love?
myself. I love me. I really love me. I can stand in a room alone and feel loved. And I love that for myself. I really, really do. Like, I love me so much, and it makes me feel so good. And I love who I am to myself, and I love who I am to other people. I go to bed every night knowing that I gave the day my all, whether it's a friend, family, work, consulting, my daughter, myself. If I go to bed knowing that I've given it my all.
Yeah.
And that's showing up for me. That is me showing up for me, and it looks different. It's taken just I used to be I'm a Virgo, so I used to be very like, my daughter's an Aquarius, so she's taught me to live outside the box. Squiggly lines are cool. It don't have to be straight, all of that. And with that, I'm just learning a different side of me that I didn't know that was in me. And I love it. I love who I am, who I'm becoming. I just love me. Like, I mean, that's just the answer. I can't think of like some type of activity or hobby or something like that. I wake up and I am happy in the skin that I'm in.
Yeah.
I really.
And that's a beautiful thing. I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I'm wondering, um, so with you, like you said, loving you, what does that well, and I ain't gonna ask like what's that process look like, but did you have uh, a issue, or how did you get around kind of like holding yourself, like how you mentioned your daughter doesn't have a father to deal with, like at the end of the day, how do you go through that process without kind of, I guess, holding yourself down in the sense of, well, I don't have this, I didn't do that. We have these challenges. Are those things that you don't focus on?
No, they're there. I just wake up every day and make a choice to be happy.
Mm.
I
And
I,
but
I
what?
make a
How
choice
did,
to be happy.
and so they're there, but you don't entertain them. You don't give them much thought. You
I
just
I don't have the energy because again, I know you said don't mention my daughter, but let me tell you, this little girl have me busy. And
yeah,
as a parent and part of being intentional, you have to show up for these children. You know, it's not her job to deal with grown people stuff. Because if I let that stuff get to me, she'll have a different mama every day. Like, Lord,
right.
I don't know what I should talk to my mom about today. I really, really, really pride myself into going to therapy, writing things down, and making sure, all right, I gotta release it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have certain friends that you have different relationships with that you share and talk about different things, you know, about.
Yeah.
Um, so I think for me, that's just what I do. It's not easy. I mean,
No.
there are days where I just sleep, I and cry,
Yeah. Which is
you
okay
know.
to do.
Yeah, and it really is. And you know, so I'll share something with you that is about to come out soon. I was asked to write a chapter of a book. Um and that'll be out next month, and it's just one chapter, and it was a 12-week process of meeting with the other authors via Zoom, and it was so triggering of the things that I had to go through. And actually I'm gonna when we get the digital copy, I'm gonna send it to you first. I would love to get your feedback based off of the conversation that we're having now for you to read that chapter before it goes out to everyone. But you will have a better understanding of what I'm speaking of in this season that I'm in because of what I just had to go through,
Yeah.
you know, and write out what was asked to be written about. So um I used to think, oh my God, people would get so sick and tired of hearing me talk about in their mind the same thing over and over. But those not my people, because every day I feel good when I'm able to connect with someone and help them in any kind of way. And if that means talking about my business or allowing you to get in my business and ask these questions, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know that God chose me.
Yeah. And so first of all, one of the things that stand out about you that's so amazing, and I hope other people see it, is your confidence in your presence and in your person and your purpose. You know, a lot of people have, that's where their issue lies, is that they're uncomfortable with what their purpose is, or still trying to define what their idea of their purpose, their life purpose is, you know. But when you say I wake up, I make a choice. Like, you know, when I go to sleep, I make a choice to not to, and I'm intentional, and I do this, and I love me. A lot of people are just struggling to even get to that point. And you know, I'm a mental health advocate as well. And so we deal with a lot of people who have been torn down, broken down, but not only that, they stayed there. And their issue is not about the trials and the situations that happened. It's about how it broke them to a point that it allowed them to give up and not want to pursue or give up on the thought or the fantasy of. And that is when people get lost. That's when they lose, when they give up the 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 ambition to be. And one of the things that, for you to go through as much as you've went through with the abuse, and not only just you, but your child, your miracle child, and to get to this point to where you're still pouring in and giving to everybody else, that's a beautiful thing. And really congratulations on that, because that is God's work. And I hope that people could continue to be blessed by your work and your movement, and also, you know, come to aid you in your process, because there is somebody, we're going to repeat it, who does do grants easily, who does it. And matter of fact, there's someone who popped in on the line who is also one of your sorors, who
Ooh,
would Look, it's gonna be gang banging all in the timeline now. But there's a lot of resources that we have, and I think that we really just need to step outside of that box. So I'm glad that you did this with me, because when I asked you if you would do this with me, your first question was like, what are we gonna talk about?" And I really had to tell you, like, I don't know. Like, this platform has no structure. I have no idea. But thank you for stepping out of your box and having this conversation with me. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
I want to know,
Mm-hmm.
what, where do you see this whole journey of yours, not just a nonprofit, but the journey that you're on? Where do you see this going in the next couple of years? Let's speak it into existence.
I feel like I'm making international for one. I took my daughter to China for 2 weeks last summer
Hmm.
and partnered with a friend of mine that works at one of the, like, a Harvard of China, though, like in Beijing, and took some children, about maybe 8 to 10 kids, and just gave them a different experience at that particular university. I have another good girlfriend. We're actually going to take some kids and we're going to Colombia in July this year. And we're going to do some outreach work there with our children. Again, the whole point is doing this with our kids.
Yeah.
Doing this so that my daughter is at school having these healthy conversations and working out things in a healthy way with the people that she interact with.
Okay.
It's contagious. So that's why it's important to me. So I would definitely say I see a lot of grants in my future, and I see me being able to, I even have people on staff that trust in my vision, that we take care of the financial burden if someone doesn't have insurance, that need counseling.
Mm.
You know, the money that we do raise through donors, and we've been able to bless other people without grants, but grants will obviously make things a little bit easier. But we've been able to put people lights back on, you know, get them the money that they need to file that divorce, help pay a doctor bill, give money to the HBCU scholarships, the golf tournament funds. The proceeds, they go to HBCU scholarships. Every year we do a check presentation, help just little things, help kids who their parents don't have a really big community, but they're on the Girl Scouts and they need someone to buy their cookies.
Yeah.
We're there,
Yeah.
like
I love it.
nothing
So,
too small. Like,
so you're going international and the nonprofit is somebody asked in the comments what the name of the nonprofit is, and go ahead.
Happy Mama, Happy Minnie.
Is the name of the nonprofit.
Yes, I would put it in here, but for whatever reason, my camera is frozen. It's been on the same thing I first started. So, but
Oh,
it's Happy Mama, Happy Minnie
okay.
dot
So you
org.
can't see you can't see all the faces I've been making. Oh, that's great.
No, no,
No.
I can't see the comments or anything like that. So
Oh,
no.
that's
I
too bad. I'm definitely
don't
sorry to hear that.
know if we even have an audience, but hi.
Okay. and and we do. We have people who's coming in and out, still checking it out. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because this is something that we can save and record, and then people go back and watch over time and things of that nature. Especially, things you could share to your group of people, and anybody who's interested in what you do. But also, the most important is for the young women who want to know or need to hear this story, the grown women who need to hear this story, the women who are currently in abused relationships and feel like if they're outside of that relationship, they don't have an identity, to know that they can be still successful. And not only that, be in China with a whole bunch of bad kids. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And that just knowing that, I think for me, what took the longest time, I was expecting my life to go back. I was expecting to make all this money that I was making, to do all these things that I was doing. And if that meant giving that up to live 30 more years, 40 more years, 50 more years added on to my life, that's rich. That's
Absolutely.
rich. But it took me a while to grasp. I'm like, why can't I just get back into here like I was with my career? Like, why? And the more you live and learn, you realize this is where your life is not supposed to be the same. You're not going to go through something so transformational and it not be transformed.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense, right? So I had to tell myself that, and pay closer attention to my boundaries, and just not give up on myself and the changes that I'm constantly going through, because we're growing people. We're evolving, through motherhood, through I'm a sister, I'm a best friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a cousin, I'm all these things, and it looks different.
Yeah.
So, and still, to your point, I do try to make sure I put myself first. What I need is a lot of rest. And my friends out there know Nichelle will take a nap in a heartbeat. That's
Look, well,
so happy.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day because you could be napping right now, but I do appreciate taking your time. And I just wanted to say once again, for those who are watching this or who will watch this, do understand that this woman is not in need, but can use the help of anyone who does grants. Not only that, people who want to be involved, who want to be a part of the movement, who want to support her, who want to, this is what this is about, because these are the people in the community who are doing the things that are not on the forefront. We don't have $1 million and 1,000 people standing behind us, on TV saying that we're great. We got to do it for each other. And what I love about this is that we have an opportunity to learn and create relationships and partnerships through here, because I am now going to be a supporter of whatever it is you need. I am a international host. I do poetry. I do events. I do these lives. I'm in Houston. I have a lot of things that I have access to in Denver. If there's anything you need, please use me as a resource, because I am available for you, and I am a public speaker. I am. I love working with the kids, but I really feel like it's important for us to talk to our peers, because the mother who is your age, who's going through that abusive relationship, probably needed to hear this more than anything. Not the young girl who may go through it. There's somebody who needed to hear this today. And just know that we support you. I support you. KJ Midday is on. Radio personality is watching right now. She also works with a lot of nonprofits like Happy Mama, Happy Minnie, so she may also be a resource. It's just a beautiful opportunity, man, to continue to grow and do what we do. So continue to stay amazing. Thank you. Let this not be our last conversation. What we're probably going to do is double back and at some point get it in. Now I have a question for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, I do, but I want to talk to you offline.
Okay.
And ask some questions and stuff like that. But I appreciate what you're doing for the community, and to your, I think it's necessary. I think something you said to me was like, hey, it's not always about what the celebrities are doing, and it's not. And I love that your mind thinks like that, because that's how my mind thinks too. It's like, you know what, you have to reach out and touch, that old school song, touch somebody's hand, like make this world a better place if you
I
can.
thought you were gonna sing it. I
Oh
thought
no,
you.
I that to my baby sister. Now she can sing.
Yo,
This one,
I seen the dance moves on the video. There's some dance moves on the video. You might want to check those out. But yeah, no, we are here for you. Anybody in the comments, if you have any questions for her, please feel free to ask your questions. If you would like to come up on the camera and ask questions, maybe she'll see you move, since we've been stuck in the same position since we started. Did your camera kick in yet?
yes, I see you moving now, but not any of the comments or anything like
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, I was about to say, because I hope I didn't have a crazy face when it got stuck there, because it would be a whole different conversation. But if y'all have any questions for Miss Nichelle, please feel, and how do you say your name correctly? Because I keep saying Nichelle, but you say it differently. Nichelle?
Mm-hmm. Like,
Nichelle.
like the knee on your body, knee shell.
Like the knee on your body shell. Okay. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. And at the same time, please follow this woman. Make sure that you keep up with her. If there's any resources that you have, if you want to be a part of anything, if you have things going on that you feel she could help with, or that you may be able to help her with, this is somebody to contact. And we may know a few people, so we're just going to continue to push this out. And, who knows, maybe the right person to see it, right? Keep
Thank
me in
you.
keep me in your prayers, Miss
Right.
Nichelle, like knee on your body, Shell, and I will do the same for you and your amazing daughter, Miss Hannah Marie. Also to Miss Kimberly, who was there for you, who
Mhm.
helped. And is there any other names that we want to just speak real quickly in the atmosphere that we know are blessings to people and just know that they have them?
I would love to say, just speaking of that, during that time frame in my life, charisma, God sent friend,
Mm,
sister, and Brandy. Brandy was actually my ex-husband's first wife, and she was a blessing. I wouldn't have been able to get through that without her. She spoke to me every single day for about 2.5 years straight until my divorce was final. I love that woman a lot.
that's what's up. All right. Well, we appreciate it and may them ladies' names enter rooms that they have physically not entered into as of yet. Miss Nichelle, may your name continue to enter rooms, and Miss Hannah Marie, may her name continue to do the same. And once again, we're praying for you blessings and all of that. If there's anything that you need from us, if there's anything that I could do, please let me know. I am here for it. And we appreciate you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Follow this young lady. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. So check this out. We are in this situation now to where we've had that opportunity to speak with somebody who does amazing things and has a story, man. And I didn't even get into all of the details of it because I feel like that's something that, if y'all want to know more, y'all could actually reach out to her about or actually follow her program with the details. Because, once again, to come from supportive family, mom and dad, and been married for years, and went to HBCU, and pledged Divine Nine, and then get into a marriage where you're physically abused and your baby is physically abused, and this is what you do. You work in that realm, and to come out of that, and everybody has a story. And that's what makes this so important to me. I don't care about the superstars who made $1 million and now they're tired and they're sleepy because they're overworked. Like, what about these people who had to come over, like, get through the tragedies of life and the challenges of life, and really continue to still move and still give you the jewels where this woman said, I choose. I choose. I make a choice to be happy. I make a choice not to let it get to me. I love myself. I tell myself I love myself. I celebrate me. So her name is Nichelle Wilson. And I don't know why it didn't show. I'm sorry, y'all. But she is on the promotion on my page. And Nichelle, if you're still on, put your name in the comments. But yeah, Happy Mama, Happy Minnie is the name of her nonprofit. And her name is Nichelle, like Nichelle Wilson. Um, but yeah, man, for anybody going through it, the challenges, the struggles, just know you ain't the only one. And that there is some light on the other side of that. You just got to get to it. You know what I mean? Don't give up. Remember to love yourself. Believe in yourself. Oh, this was a real positive show. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I am the voice, Mr. Reality, aka the real name Greg Delaney, because I am going to be very important at some point. Why I'm important to me. I love myself. But yeah, this is going to hit major platforms. Things are going to happen, and this is just the beginning. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. Please check the promotions, check for the promo in my page for Nichelle, and follow her, man. That's what we do. Real talk. Appreciate you. Thank you for showing up. And I should get a closing, right? That would be cool to have a closing. Um, I don't know how to do it though. So we're gonna do the closing. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.